Yeah, but they say what they're seeing is similar, maybe not the same, but similar to what people are seeing in New York, in New Jersey. Here's one video here where you can kind of see one or two orbs kind of hovering, floating around. At times they move, eventually disappear. What are they? No one knows.
We started trying to follow them, but they won't be followed. They're kind of like they disappear.
Deborah Wagner doesn't know what she keeps seeing over her Northfield home.
And then these things, whenever anybody would kind of come towards them, they'd back off.
But her daughter, Chrissy Grady, sees them too.
Are these UFOs? Are they a government thing? Like, what are they?
It's really low.
I know it is.
You gotta follow it. There's another one up there.
Oh, crap.
Chrissy and her kids took this video when they saw flashing lights that moved away after they spotted them.
Well, it obviously sees me. I gotta pretend like I'm actually driving. Watched both of them. So now there's 4.
They started seeing the lights over the summer, and now it's a nightly thing.
They would come and kind of like hover, and then we would go outside, and then they would leave.
About 1,000 miles away in New York and New Jersey, this is what people are seeing in the skies. Eyewitnesses say they look like SUV-sized drones, and those sightings now have even the White House's attention.
Obviously, this is something that DHS and FBI are tracking very, very closely.
Well, I don't want it to come closer.
As for what Chrissy and her mother Deborah keep seeing here in Minnesota, well, they don't know.
Right now, just the unknown is driving us crazy and making us mad.
At least 4 commercial pilots reported mysterious, bright lights zipping through the skies above Oregon this past weekend. On Sunday night, a United Airlines pilot radioed air traffic control after spotting the unexpected lights in the Eugene area.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. You know, they're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy.
A Life Flight pilot reported one of the lights was going in circles in a corkscrew pattern and showed up on his aircraft's collision avoidance system.
It's red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast it's moving.
You are cleared to maneuver as necessary, left and right, to avoid the UFO out there.
Several brief videos taken by pilots and their crews showed lights in the night sky, but they're difficult to see because of the dark conditions.
It's weird. It's a red circular shape, and it keeps zipping out towards the ocean and then coming back in about, 20 miles or closer to us, and then it zips back out of the ocean and we can't see it.
2 Horizon airline pilots also reported seeing mysterious lights, according to air traffic control, who confirmed there was no military activity in the area. So, what could it be?
That appears like Starlink satellites, most likely.
We do have one example that I'm aware of where we were able to correlate a number of observations of interesting lights in the sky, and eventually we concluded that it was multiple people observing Starlink.
I guess I'm just as curious as everybody else. I'd just like to know what it was we saw.
Lifelight pilot Joe Bewley has seen objects moving across the night sky before, including satellites and shooting stars. But the bright orange light spotted above the Eugene area was clearly different.
The biggest thing that stood out is it was changing directions. Usually things don't change directions.
Audio recordings captured his conversation with air traffic controllers.
It's red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast it's moving.
You are cleared to maneuver as necessary, left and right, to avoid the UFO out there.
At least 4 commercial pilots spotted the same mysterious bright lights above Oregon this weekend.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. You know, they're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy.
Bewley said the lights showed up on his aircraft's collision avoidance system.
On my TCAS, traffic collision avoidance system, it's in one of my middle screens of the Platus. You can see aircraft on it usually. And I saw a target that would stop right on that ring, and before it would go back out over the horizon, disappear out over the horizon off the ocean.
So your aircraft's collision avoidance system was picking something up, and yet it wasn't showing up on other radar?
ATC said they couldn't see it.
Hey, Center, Horizon 2207. Got time for a question?
Horizon Air 2207, go ahead.
Hey, just wondering if you have any aircraft at our 10 o'clock, looks out over the coast that you're aware of. Kind of some interesting looking lights out there. Not satellites, but maybe aircraft.
How far out? Because I do have an aircraft that you're 10 to 9 o'clock and about 120 miles out.
Possibly, yeah. It looks like at least 4, though. Something's flying. It's not satellites because they're changing direction. It's strange looking. I've seen this a few times over the last month in the same area.
Iranian 2207, Roger. How far out are your 10 o'clock and are they at a similar altitude as you?
It's really hard to tell. They seem quite far and probably the same altitude or higher.
Roger. Thanks for the report.
Thank you.
TCAS Center, yeah, 1596.
1596, bud.
Is there any military activity out straight ahead of us?
1596, no, we're not seeing anything. I had another one report at like 30,000 feet in the Eugene area. We're not sure what it is.
Yeah, there's lots moving out there.
1596, yeah, they're looking into it.
Thanks.
And where is that at for 661 Lima Fox?
661 Lima Foxtrot, okay, bye. You know, to 1596, does it still look like it's in the Eugene area?
Yeah, just straight west of Eugene. I mean, we're seeing 3 or 4 targets. You know, they're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy.
You know, 1596, does it look like it's about at your altitude at level 260?
There was some at 30 probably. But, I mean, they're shooting way up. We'd say maybe up to the 50s, it looks like.
1596, thanks. MedEvac 1 Lima Fox, did you copy?
Yeah, I heard it. We'll be looking. 661 Lima Fox.
I think too, that whole way in.
This is 2207, thanks.
Alaska 835, do you see any lights or aircraft movement out here like 3 o'clock there? I have a couple aircraft reporting it. Alaska 835, Roger, thank you. And you can contact Seattle Center 12518 today.
MedEvac 1 Lima Fox, Cedric, North Bend Airport.
Check North Bend Airport. And is there traffic actually out about our 2 to 3 o'clock, about, I don't know, 20, 30 miles?
MedEvac 1 Lima Fox, no, is that the 4 different lights going up and down? I'm getting a few reports, but you're seeing it right in front of you now too as well?
It's 2 to 3 o'clock off, about 2 to 3 o'clock from our position. Looks about 20 miles going in circles.
MedEvac 1 Lima Fox, yeah, we're not seeing anything, getting lots of different reports out there, some at 30, some all the way up to 50,000, about 3 or 4 different lights. Does it look like they're around your altitude now?
No, there's one way up high and one about my altitude. Moving in like a circle, like a corkscrew pattern.
MedEvac 1 Lima Fox, Roger. MedEvac 1 Lima Fox, just looking into this a little bit more. Could you give me another more accurate report, please?
All right, I'm visually have eyes on what looks like an aircraft strobe that's at my 2 o'clock and 22 miles at my altitude. I'm actually showing him on TCAS. Do you see that one?
MedEvac 1 Lima Fox, I do not. Descendant pilot discretion maintain 14000.
Send maintain 14000, Medevac 661 Lima Foxtrot. He looks like he's moving towards, it looks like it's moving towards the north. Like I said, 22 and a half miles off my right wing. Medevac 661 Lima Fox.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, thank you.
And center, Medevac 661 Lima Fox.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, go ahead.
Just had another one show up about my 1 o'clock, about 1,000 feet high, zipping towards us and then back out towards the ocean. It's red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast he's moving. 661 Lima Fox.
On today's episode of What's Going On with Shipping, did Iranian drone carriers launch drones over New Jersey? I read that right. That's the title of this video. Hi, I'm your host, Sal Mercogliano. Welcome to today's episode. There's an allegation out there that the Iranian Navy, from one of their 2 drone carriers, have launched drones to overfly the state of New Jersey. I'm not sure why we're flying over the Jersey Shore. Does Iran need some updated intelligence on Snooki? But that's the allegation. And that allegation isn't coming from the run-of-the-mill Twitter, X, people. It is coming from a U.S. congressman from New Jersey. I give you Congressman Van Drew.
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly.
Now, I want to be respectful to Congressman Jeff Van Drew from New Jersey, but you're wrong. They were not launched from the Iranian drone carriers, the one that was just launched the other month. And the reason I can say that emphatically without any doubt is because they're not off the coast of New Jersey. They're off the coast of Iran. And the reason we know that is because Tanker Trackers, which uses Black Sky, an open source satellite intelligence network, has visual on them right now.
Drones should be red and green. That means they are connected to the controller.
Like everyone else in New Jersey, drone pilot Mike Anella is trying to decipher the recent mysterious sightings.
This, solid green. That's highly unusual.
He's been using commercial drones from his own business, New Jersey Drone Shots, to take video of the unidentified craft. Some turn out to be just regular planes flying into Newark.
We could tell by the tail and the logo it was a United Airlines flight.
But others he can't explain and says they're not ordinary drones.
I wouldn't even think how to transport them. They're huge. They're the size of cars. The light pattern is very unusual, and the way that they're flying so low is not understanding.
He also doesn't understand how they managed to stay airborne for so long, especially now.
It takes a lot of more power to operate a drone in the cold. I can get about 45 minutes in the air just hovering with my drone. These drones are up in the air for more than 2 hours.
Perhaps the most puzzling part is why we still don't have answers. Anella says the skies are closely regulated and flying over a sensitive space like Picatinny Arsenal would attract attention fast.
If I took one of my drones over one of those areas, I would have law enforcement on me in probably 10 seconds.
Until we know what's going on, he's cautious about where he flies and hopes it doesn't impact his business.
We want answers. Because effectively, I want to make sure I could feel safe to fly.
Attention all southern-based aeromedical units. There are 5 to 7 drones flying at a high level over Hamilton. There are 5 to 7 drones flying at a high level over Hamilton. Use caution in the area. Sure. It's going to be north 3933.09, north 3933.09, west 7438.30, west 7438.30.
So what was the big takeaway from the meeting? Are we any closer to learning where these drones are from?
Unfortunately, no. And the lead investigators for these drone sightings was not there to brief us, which was the most misunderstood, perplexing part of this entire briefing, was the FBI was not there. So unfortunately, now there are more questions than we have answers. And just yesterday when I was driving home, I saw late last night a drone hovering about 200 feet above Route 35 in Middletown. So unfortunately, the briefing yesterday was really just a compilation of the frustrations that mayors and lawmakers across New Jersey continue to have.
Let me ask a question that I've heard from so many people, which is, why can't you see the drone in the sky and then follow it to where it lands? What's the answer to that?
Well, apparently, according to the state police, they have followed a few. I know that the Ocean County Sheriff has also used his drones, which unfortunately could not keep up with the speed. And state police reported yesterday that the battery life on these drones, they're estimating to be between 6 and 8 hours, which has led many to believe, including Congressman Van Drew, who yesterday reported that these drones were coming from a ship offshore. That question came up, and the Coast Guard, I know, according to the state police briefing yesterday, is searching the 130-mile coastline of New Jersey. But it is very concerning that you have more than 180 drone sightings across the state of New Jersey over our infrastructure, our electrical grid, our water reservoirs, and most importantly, our military installations, which do cause a big concern, especially here in Middletown, as we're home to Naval Weapons Station Earl.
Jeff Andrew had actually said it was an Iranian mothership, right? So did that come up? It seems like that idea has already been knocked down here. Any proof of why he would have said that to begin with?
I haven't spoken with the congressman. It did come up because Congressman Van Drew did make that announcement on national news while we were all in the briefing, which was a bit alarming because we all turned to the superintendent of the state police and said, "Is this true?" Now, he at the time said that it wasn't, but I have no reason to doubt that Congressman Van Drew wouldn't have some type of reason to say that there is some type of foreign adversary that is responsible for this.
Yeah, Christine and Susan, is very much a mystery. The Biden administration has said that multiple agencies, including the FBI, are investigating the sightings, but says it's possible that much of what people are seeing are actually manned aircraft. But people who live here in Temecula say they're used to seeing helicopters and planes from nearby Camp Pendleton, and they say what they saw was quiet, and one had the video to prove it.
I think the public has a right to know what is flying above the skies and what the purpose is.
This is what Brian Dirk saw over his Temecula backyard yesterday evening, but he's not the only one who saw it. There are multiple social media videos just like his from South Riverside County, and listen closely. Witnesses say whatever it was didn't make a sound.
We saw two that came directly overhead our backyard in South Temecula here, and then we've seen a bunch across the horizon.
I looked up because it was coming now right over top of me, and it was quiet. It didn't make any noise.
Melinda Peters saw them last night too in Temecula, which is a mountain range away from Camp Pendleton. The Marine Base sent a written statement that reads in part, "We are aware of the drones that are flying over Temecula. They are not associated and do not impact Camp Pendleton's training and operations." But the base command did not elaborate on who might be flying them.
I don't think that it's regular off-the-shelf drones that are being flown around, at least here. Based on what we saw, it was a pretty good size, almost the size of like maybe a smaller vehicle, a car.
It's similar to videos taken in the skies above New Jersey last month.
Yeah, that's no plane.
Prompting security concerns and this response from the Biden administration.
These are not U.S. military drones. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
But in Temecula, people we spoke with say they are certain they saw drones and just want to know if a business or a government agency or who else might be behind them.
You would think that they'd let people know so that, because like I said, it's become this big thing.
So you heard Camp Pendleton says those drones were not theirs. We also reached out to the Forest Service because the Cleveland National Forest is nearby. They say it wasn't them either. SoCal Edison does confirm they did fly drones yesterday, but they say that was near Menifee and Murrieta and not after dark, so you can rule them out as well. The one agency, though, we have not heard back from is the FAA.
Across New Jersey, there have been more than 3,000 reports of drone sightings in recent weeks. And now those sightings have spread to Queens and the Bronx. Lori Bordenero has the latest on the mystery.
My concern is not knowing where they came from.
Rashawn McIntosh shared these drone videos taken just after midnight Thursday in St. Albans, Queens. CBS News confirmed team verified the authenticity.
It had a lot of blinking lights. It was pretty low hovering to where I could tell, like, okay, that's maybe not a JFK-sized plane.
The NYPD says multiple drones were also seen flying over the southwest portion of the Bronx Thursday, which includes Yankee Stadium. Officers responded and saw the drones, but say they disappeared shortly after.
And all these drones were the same kind of drones.
Mysterious drones hovering over New Jersey have been baffling residents and lawmakers for weeks. Concern now spreading to the nation's capital.
They should be shot down if necessary because they're flying over sensitive areas, whether it's planes that may be jeopardized or security. at military bases.
On Thursday, U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and U.S. Senators Cory Booker and Andy Kim sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and FAA requesting a briefing on the drone activity, calling the sightings alarming and a potential safety risk.
We should know what's going on over our skies.
The White House now weighing in, a national security spokesperson saying many of the more than 3,000 reported sightings may have been planes mistaken for drones.
We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus.
The NYPD says it is investigating the drone activity along with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force.
Tonight, the concern over drones in the night sky reaching Cape Cod. Police on the Cape say they're now investigating several reports of unexplained drone sightings. Thank you for joining us on this Friday night. I'm David Wade.
And I'm Lisa Hughes. The FBI is also investigating. And as WBZ's Logan Hall reports tonight, people who have spotted the drones want to know who's flying them and why.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a drone. From New Jersey to New York and now Cape Cod, several reports of swarms of large drones cruising the skies.
Look up in the sky over there. What does that look like to you? He's like, that's not a plane, that's weird. I'm like, I know, I wonder if it's one of those drones that we keep seeing on TV and social media from New York, New Jersey.
Harwich local Alex says he witnessed this phenomenon.
I woke up this morning to the posts of everybody saying, look there's drones on Cape Cod. I'm like, now I know it was a drone. I'm not crazy.
And Alex wasn't the only person on the Cape to see something in the night sky. Harwich Chief of Police Ken Considine says his department documented a report and passed it along to state and federal law enforcement agencies. He says a police officer even saw them in the sky.
One of my officers also saw a couple type drones over near our station, in the vicinity of our station at about 6 p.m. last night. So, and they were reported as bright white, couldn't hear anything, but similar.
He says for a local police department, patrolling the skies and monitoring drones is just not feasible, making it hard to respond to this type of issue.
They are tough to manage, and that's why first thing we did today was just, submit our report to our local partners from the federal government and the state police just so they can start looking into it.
President-elect Donald Trump posted about the incident saying, quote, mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know and now. Otherwise, shoot them down. The FBI, which is among several agencies investigating, released a joint statement with the Department of Homeland Security saying there's no evidence the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat. And the mystery continues with several more reports of drones flying in the sky here in Marshfield. On Drone Watch, Logan Hall.
Numerous reported sightings tonight coming from the Lehigh Valley and other parts of eastern Pennsylvania, as far north as the Poconos to as far south as the Philadelphia area.
Possible drone sightings called into our newsroom tonight include from Bethlehem, Bushkill Township, Doylestown, and Maiden Creek Township in Berks County, just to name a few. All this as local lawmakers continue to cry out for more transparency from the federal government. 69 News reporter Rose Itzkovitz is joining us in the studio now with the very latest. Rose.
Yeah, guys, the White House and federal authorities continue to insist there's no imminent threat with these mysterious drones. Some on the local level are divided, though, concerning whether they agree with that. But what does seem to be the common theme here is not only what are these drones, but why is it taking so long to get answers?
It's not a bird. It's not a plane.
When it comes to drones, they can't just be flying anywhere.
It's drones. That's what many lawmakers and laymen alike say they're seeing across the New Jersey skies for more than 3 weeks.
I saw these drones with my own eyes.
I think I saw last Sunday.
And now, sightings in PA as well. Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick tonight citing reports of drone activity in Bucks County.
Wow, I can't believe these things actually came over to Pennsylvania.
Jackson Gaspar says he saw multiple drones from his backyard in Bethlehem.
What the heck is that thing? They were like flying pretty low to the ground.
It's now one of many unconfirmed reports around the Lehigh Valley. The questions of where these drones are coming from only eclipsed by another recent concern, many saying a lack of transparency from the federal government.
We're tired of kind of this lackadaisical attitude that the federal government is taking. And that's a bipartisan position in that room.
And all we're asking for from the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI is they come out with this.
The White House still saying the drones do not pose a security threat. It's the same thing we've been hearing from New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy.
So I've had private briefings with DHS, Homeland Security, and the FBI. I'm not concerned about any imminent threat to public safety, and that's true.
But others are concerned.
Until you know the origin and what these drones' intent is, how can you tell me that there's no imminent threat?
Drones are legal in New Jersey for recreational and commercial use, but they have to be FAA certified. Officials say these drones appear to have advanced technology, more sophisticated than those commercially available.
Nick Calloway has been covering this unusual uptick in drone sightings for several weeks. He joins us live at the scene in Hillsborough Township. Nick?
Well, Cindy, police are not telling us much at the moment, but emergency officials have been here on the scene all morning searching that wooded area just behind me for something. Chopper 2 was over the scene as local firefighters, hazmat crews, and police officers have been on the scene here. They were searching that wooded marsh area near the Lowe's off Route 206 here in Hillsborough. Officials also had a drone up in the air looking for something. That after there were reports of a possible drone landing late last night. Now, there has been an enormous amount of interest in all the drone activity lately here in New Jersey. So when there were reports of a possible drone down, folks who live around here came to take a look and see what they could find out. But police are being extremely tight-lipped, referring all questions to the FBI. FBI officials say they are aware of the situation but would not comment further. A lot of the firefighters and police just left the scene within the last 20 minutes or so. I asked one firefighter right before he left if they found anything in that wooded area behind me. He politely said that he is not at liberty to say.
This has been a Safety Conscious Terrier production 2024.